Hello and welcome to the Culture Quest. The Culture Quest is the only place where you'll find informative and entertaining information about the African culture. Join me every Sunday at 2 p.m. at Nisi Television to catch all the tea, the shade, the information about our culture, our languages, our needs as a society. Join me. Karibu sana. Afternoon and welcome to today's episode of the Culture Quest. Today we will be taking a deep dive into humanitarianism and its relevance in the African culture. For so many years, humanitarianism is something that has been pushed on us through Ubuntu and other slogans in the society. And it is something that has been beneficial for us because it pushes togetherness, it pushes us working together, and it pushes community. But lately, with the growth of our countries, our nations, we are finding that humanitarianism is starting to be doubted by people. So the big question is humanitarianism still relevant to the African culture? That is the question we seek to answer today. I am your host, Kamodo Rehab, and I am joined in studio by a friend and my fellow host. Introduce yourself.
That's wonderful. My name is Chris.
Uh-huh.
I'm the Director of United Africa for Children.
Uh-huh.
And I'm so happy to be on this show.
Uh-huh.
And yes, to get to know all about our culture.
Okay. So on the topic, you've told us where you're from. Could you please tell us what your organization does, what you're seeking to do?
Okay. United Africa for Children, it's not an old organization, but it is in the spirit of creating solutions affecting the children of Africa. Now, Africa has many problems facing our children, starting from famine. There are many children dying because of hunger, war. When a nation is crushed by war, who's focusing on the children? Look at Composite.
Yes.
Who is really, yes, we have UNICEF, and there are many organizations that are really focusing on the children. But we need also to create more solutions. Life is about looking for more answers to the problems that are affecting our nations today. So, as a United Africa for Children, it is our goal to see Africa united together to be able to come up with solutions that are affecting our children in every nation. Because every nation is facing different problems. Their children are different from other nations. Maybe you find one nation, their biggest problem is child traffic. And in another nation, their biggest problem is famine. In another nation, their biggest problem that is extreme is poverty. Also with the region that surrounds every nation. So we are thinking if Africa would be united, people would share according to where they come from on the problems that are affected and also share how they have been able to overcome the same problem that Kenya's children are facing. And that one also adds to the part of spiritualism. You know, as a Christian organization, we want to preserve the spiritual legacy of our forefathers. You know, we are in a season where we are in an era whereby the people, fathers, that like children do not have people they can imitate. We do not have a generational group that we can say these are the people who are living right, and we can be able to preserve our spiritualism to our children. So we are thinking, we are praying and we are calling Africa. It is time for us to unite or be able to be a one voice. I wanted to imagine when a disaster takes place in a nation. How do we come in as people who love children? There are kids who need counseling. The children need...
And they are our future, actually.
Yes.
So they're the people we should be taking care of.
Yes, they are our future. So as United Africa for Children, we are calling upon every nation in Africa. It is time for us to unite together and create solutions for the problems affecting the children of Africa. From hunger, education, famine, disasters. How do we reach out to every child? Because problem will never go there, will never go away. But when we create solutions, we're able to improve humanity and preserve the future generation.
So what I'm getting from you is that right now humanitarianism, especially for our children, is something that is needed more than ever.
What I can say, I think the first thing for us to be able to know what humanitarian, it's to define what humanitarianism is.
Yes, that's
because I think we sometimes we mix the three things: humanitarianism, relief, volunteerism. Those things somehow go together. One carries one of them, and one is one of them. So maybe we can say the definition. I think the real definition of humanitarianism, it is a person promoting the welfare of humanity. It's a person who's devoted to promote the welfare of humanity. You see, it's a person who come out there and say, I want to see humanity taken care of, like people are both, and this is done, PG, this is done through relieving people from pain. Philanthropists. The word of people are called philanthropists.
Yes, sir.
So all of them, they are examples of people who are seeking to promote the welfare of humanity. Because humanitarian is about a person who is out there seeking to promote the welfare of other people.
Okay.
You see, from my perspective, I think we have levels of humanitarians, and every person somehow or somewhere they're involved in humanitarianism. But now there is that level. There are those who are really called for this. You know, there are these people we look at to say their life is meant for this.
Yeah.
We are all called to improve human's life. You and me and everybody who's out there. We are all called to promote the welfare of humanity wherever we are. But now there are those specific people, this is their thing. This is what runs in their blood. And this kind of people, they're able to fight for that. They're able to protest for that. They're able to stand out and say this is enough and enough. Because this is there. But all of us, we are an aspect of humanitarians. We are supposed to go out there and improve and promote the welfare of humanity wherever we are.
That's amazing. So you've told us, viewers, we have learned that humanitarianism is actually, or a humanitarian rather, is you've said is a person who takes it upon themselves to improve the quality of humanity in a given place. So what is a philanthropist?
A philanthropist is a... Okay, I can say a philanthropist is a person who gives away his resources to help other people.
So a humanitarian takes...
let's say, for example, we have crisis. Or maybe a philanthropist, somebody who donates. Let's say, like somebody who donates, somebody who gives out their money, their resources, to the improvement of humanity. To the improvement of our people, of our culture, of our community. Yeah.
Amazing. So viewers, now we are learning today. So humanitarianism is taking the act of protecting or rather helping a certain group of people. Philanthropism is removing your resources to help other people, be it money, be it clothes, be it everything, right? And now what is a volunteer?
Okay. Who is a volunteer? It's somebody who gives his time and services to other people.
For free.
Yes.
All right.
You volunteer. That's what it's called, volunteer.
Volunteer.
It's something you give yourself to. Nobody pushes you, and nobody calls you to it. But you give yourself. You give your services for free.
That's very, very.
It's a free It's a free thing. It's a free It's a free thing. Let me put it this way. A volunteer is somebody who gives services and is time for free.
All right. So viewers, we are also learning, because most of the time we find that there's a huge confusion between volunteering, humanitarianism, and philanthropism, and it is something that Chris here has also been teaching me. So I would want us to just hit the nail on its head and ask, right now, do you think that humanitarianism, like the efforts towards humanitarianism, philanthropism, and volunteerism, Do you think they should be increased? Are we at a place in our lives where we should increase our efforts, maintain, or stop? Because you find that a lot of these works are associated with white saviors, where we say that it's associated with colonialism, where we have white saviors who come in and they say they're helping people, then they take pictures of people, and then it becomes this whole controversial thing. So please help us understand that.
Now, there's one thing we need to know. We all have intentions. Everybody's out there doing something. They have the intention. There is a point. There's an intent of why I do what I do. So there are people out there who are using humanitarianism, humanitarian word to be able to gain for themselves. Now, I don't see something wrong with somebody who is running an organization being able to find something to be able to improve him to become better. But it's wrong to take advantage over a situation and neglect the answers for that situation for the benefit of yourself. And so you're talking about people come and take pictures and go and sell the picture or show people so that they get more funds. There's nothing wrong with taking pictures because how will people find what they don't know? And sometimes a picture helps relate with the situation on the ground. But there are people who use that one. They take advantage of that one to be able to do laundering of money, to be able to gain for themselves, to be able to get money. So it's people who give, who needs to who needs to know where their money is going to or where their help is going to. So just because I came and said there's an issue, it does not mean you need to respond to it. It's good to do your own search.
All right.
It's good for you even to get to the ground to see how genuine is this, how genuine is this person. So before we say it, everybody's doing, I don't believe everybody's doing. There are people who are out there who have good intention. And there's someone who's out there who has evil intention towards what they are doing. But then the end of it, for us to be able to help people, to improve the humor, to improve the people's life,
their quality of life.
The quality of life.
That's very, very good. So that brings me to my next question. You have told us how you run the children organization. So we have things that happen to our children here in Africa. Like we have Congo, where we have children being child laborers, right? Yeah. Where they work in the mines. We have Kenya, where we have issues of child marriage. We have the issue of poverty. We have the issue of lack of education. So what are some of the steps that you would encourage, or rather, what are some of the steps you would take to ensure that these things are actually being addressed and not exactly happening?
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I love your question. Your question is very good. Now, before maybe we can hold on that question, it's good for us to be able to look some of the people who have been involved in humanitarianism and the shit they have brought, and how we look up to them as great people. As people, we can say, this person is not for this. Now, everybody has a person they look up to and say, I want to be like this person, or I want to go beyond this person. And that is really why now there are 5 people with my mind that comes in my mind when I hear about humanitarianism. And number 1 is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is one of the great person. He spent 2 decades in prison.
He did
because of his people. And after he came out of the prison, one thing I would think is to take revenge on what people did for me, the injustices that I faced. Yeah.
Because they were big. They were big.
But Nelson Mandela never chose that.
He forgave.
She forgave. And he brought to the end of apartheid.
Yes.
You see, those are an act of humanitarian. Why? Because he came to improve the issue. You see, we have said an humanitarian person is a person who is seeking to promote the welfare of humanity. And that's what Nelson Mandela did. Now, there is another person we call Mother Teresa. He was a nun. But when he saw the poverty people are facing, and what the people are facing, he chose to live a very different life for the sake of saving humanity, for the sake of the welfare of the children of India. And today, even though Mother Teresa is dead, we still...
Her legacy continue.
Our voice still continues.
Yeah.
He has started so many charitable organizations. She helped so many children. She saved so many women. That's one example of somebody who improved human life. Somebody who cared about the welfare of humanity. He never chose himself. He didn't want to be famous. He lived a good life, but he chose to live a low life in order to relate to the poor people.
Yes.
And that's one example. That's another example. And then there's another for Elizabeth Fry. Elizabeth Fry, I think he was born about 1785, something there. Now, she visited in one of the prisons in her time. And she found women and men were put to the same prison. And I don't know if you know about that. And the condition they were in. And that horror of that condition prompted her to begin to advocate for the improvement of prison. And because of her, today our prisons are very different.
They are actually.
She stepped out to be able to see there is change in our prison. Then there is somebody called Slender. If I don't know if I've spelled the name well. I read it as Slender. Now, Slender existed in the time of the Nazis of Germany. The time there was the Jew people were being killed. Now for him, he was a supporter of Nazi people. But when he saw what the Nazis were doing to the Jew people, and felt this was not right, so he spent his money and his riches, what he had, to protect and to help the Jew people. It's about 1,100 rupees. So he used to keep bribe for the sake of protecting the Jew people who are living with him and who work for him. And then afterwards, he fled and to live in Finland. I think, if I'm not wrong, Finland. And even though he died as a poor person, because of him, he was buried in Jerusalem. And now because of him and his act of humanitarianism, today he's remembered as one of the great humanitarian persons. You see, people who have made difference in this area. The other one is Mahatma Gandhi. Yeah, Gandhi, the activist, the great activist in India. You see, when he saw what was happening to his people, he stood out to protest because he didn't want the rule of the British and what was happening in this nation of India. And because he stood out to protest, today is remembered. Stood out for the welfare of humanity of the Indian people. You see, all these people, they are remembered because of their acts of the welfare of humanity. You see, humanitarianism is not only in giving things. It's also you standing out there
and standing for something.
And sometimes people may not like what you're standing for.
Like half of the time they won't act it out.
Yeah. Most of the protests you see, others are good, others are not good. But there are people who fight and stand and protest. And because they stood out to protest for something, today people are living a good life. So sometimes it means you standing for something. People will hurt you, people may not love you, people are be against you because they don't understand what you say. They don't see what you see. And it is you to fight for what you see that is right. So everybody out there, whatever you feel that is not right, people need to stand for. Now, you've talked about what is happening in the child labor.
Yes.
Child trafficking. Now, these things didn't start today.
We didn't start.
These things started long time ago. And not time ago, it was worse than today. You know, there is a time when women were not allowed to go to school at all.
So there was a day that countries that are banning female education.
Yes, you see. So we think it did start today. But today they're still as big issue because there's media.
There's media.
And media brings these things to our close eye. So because we didn't know, we feel this is a sort. But child labor has been there for long. Human trafficking was worse. And now where we are, we can say we have come from afar.
We have.
Yeah, it has been a worse thing. Now the question you just ask is, how do you feel about this? Now, because these things are there, they're happening in our community. Child labor, we're talking about you having maybe taking a house help to help you in your house. When you go, that your child becomes the person who does the work.
Yes.
Your child is more or less, your child has done all these things. The child is given work.
A lot of work.
Becomes a child labor. And then you're talking about Congo, where children are subjected to take guns.
Yes.
And you're asking, as a United Africa for Children, what we are thinking about that. So, we have not really started a journey towards that. But this is where we are saying, how do we create solution for that? And I can say, unless people come together and sit in one table and explore what has been done and what is not being done, then we'll continue suffering with the same issue. You see, if I've been there on the ground doing the same thing for 30 years and I'm still facing the same answers, it means there's a solution. The only thing I've done is not to explore for the solution. If there had been a child labor maybe in our nation, and what is happening is increase of it. We don't see any sign of an end of this issue. What we need to know is we need to change our method of approach. How do we approach these issues? How do we approach? And then we need to ask the people who have been there on the ground, what have they been doing? Let's begin to assess. Let's evaluate and ask ourselves, is what we are doing bringing answers? Okay. Are we bearing fruits? Now, for asking those questions, now we are able to say, what can we do? And that's where we say we need to create unique solutions. We need to come together. And this one won't happen you alone. And this we are saying as United Africa for Children, creating solutions affecting the problems of Africa. It's people coming together, sitting down and saying, what do we do about this? We have tried this because I want you to imagine 30 organizations sitting together who have been working, who have been trying to end child labor. And they're all sitting together and trying to assess themselves. You want to tell me at the end of it, we won't have an answer?
We will have an answer.
We will have an answer and a new approach. But because sometimes we want to be famous, we want to be known.
You want to say you're the one who did this.
I'm the one who did it. Not because of that, isolating ourselves, we are still suffering. We are spending more money. More money, people are facing problems. We are pouring more money, and children are still suffering. Donors are giving money. Sponsors are coming in. But we never come to the conclusion. We never come to the bottom line of the issue. Why? Because it's me and me and me. It's me. I want to be known. I want to be rich. I want to be the famous one. I want to be the one who's known in this area. But there is no solution. There is no change. So coming together, we'll be able to bring our minds together to solve the problems affecting those areas. To be able to end child labor, child traffic, people have to join and protest as one force.
Yes.
And that's what Mandela did. Mandela went to prison. And after that, he fought for apartheid to end.
He brought people together.
You see, it's bringing people together to create solutions for the problem affecting the children of Africa.
Yeah. So let me just take it back. I would also like to give 3 examples of people that I think have impacted, or humanitarian rather. And I would like to start with our very own Wangari Maathai, the late Wangari Maathai. Wangari Maathai did a lot of work in environmental change. She made sure that public land was not grabbed. She made sure that we planted trees, which to this very day impact our very climate change. And our climate impacts our agricultural sector, which again impacts our, economy very, very deeply. Because Kenyans, we are deeply known to be an agricultural country. I would also like to talk about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman, I don't know when she was born. I don't have the data for that, but she helped free slaves in the U.S., if I am not wrong. And she would go in the dark, run, and save these slaves from slavery and set them free. And lastly, Dedan Kimathi. I think we all know Dedan Kimathi. He fought for our independence and even gave his life for our independence. So those are just a few people that we can talk about. And that is just the minority. We have so many other people, so many other humanitarians that have been of great impact to our great continent. And that brings us to our short break. And as we break, let's take a look at the Khoisan language, which is actually a group of 3 languages spoken in South Africa. It's spoken by the Xhosa and 2 other languages. So let's take a look at it.
Oboko.
Oboko.
Koko.
Coco.
Zavadi to I some that just can over. Don't. Some that vadi to I the data, so the clear go against that
So welcome back. Now we have learned about the Khoisan language, which is actually very rich and one of the few remaining click languages that have click sounds when you speak them, because you hear it has very many clicks when you listen to it. So I think we should continue with our conversation. And a pending question that I've been wanting to ask is, what are some of the challenges that you have faced, and what humanitarianism in general? What are some of the challenges that you guys face?
Wow, that's wonderful. So maybe I can say some of the things we have been doing at United Africa for Children. Now, United Africa for Children, we have been supporting Super Kids Africa, whereby they have been able to start a school in a community of Kakongo. And then the time we visited Kakongo, it's in Ketui, Mwingi constituency, north. It's a very interior place, and it's faced by dry season. Rain is very scarce, poverty is high, and kids who are walking long kilometers to go to school because the place is near the mountains, and it's a dry place. When we went there the first time, we were going to share the gospel. We just went to share Jesus, the God's love to children. But the kilometers we walked, I've imagined while kids are walking, we felt we need to join the community and begin a school that is called Super Kids Kakongo School. And one of the persons of the community donated land at a piece, at a price, and we began to work with the community to put a school there. And as we started doing this, we have a friend called Ian who came in to help us build some classes. Then we had also a friend called Anne. And now Anne is by the way, Anne is a very good. I think you should have Anne in your studio.
I should.
Anne has really been a very great motivation in humanitarian. She is really doing big things, and she has been one of the supporters of Super Kids Africa in what we do, like going to children home, to building children homes, going and identifying a children home that has a need, and building for them, buying beds, buying mattresses. Hundreds of children are sleeping on new mattresses because of Anne. Hundreds of children are sleeping in good roof because of Anne. Even when we started that project in there, Anne was the first person to say, I'm going to buy uniform. I'm going to come in, just tell me what is needed. Okay? I'm going to help you put the roof for the first classes. And Anne has been one of the encouragement. And also we have Ian. Ian is a very great guy from England, and he has really come in to really support this project by establishing 2 more classes and finishing even the ones which were there. Then we have great people, 3QS by David Kanyandra. God bless you. You have come in to really support this mission, helping us purchase the land, helping us to come in. So we have many people who have come to support this project and to see the welfare of humans, of people of Kakongo is improving. At United Africa, we are happy and we are proud of what is happening in that land. And we continue to call people out there to come and help us to be able to finish this community, able to finish this school. Our goal is to establish an hospital in that place, of Kakongo.
That's very powerful.
Yeah, and that is not the only thing. Our biggest picture in also for Super Kids Africa is to be able to establish schools where there are no schools in remote rural area. You know, there are those places where children don't have, even the teachers who are teaching, teachers who are not qualified because of poverty. because the places are dry and no one wants to go and live there. But we need to, for us as United Africa, we want to see schools built there. And the people out there who are feeling, I want to join these people and help them establish this school to the needy children, to the remote areas, organizations, company, churches. We are calling upon you. You can donate iron sheet, you can donate things, and together we can save a human. We can bless a child somewhere. We can give a good future to a child. We can promote quality education to children in Kenya and Africa. So Kakongo is just our first journey, but we are identifying many places like Turkana, like Marsabit, like Yandarua, those interior places. We want to see that happen. So in United Africa, we have been, not only that, we have talked about improving the spirituality. I talked about us establishing a legacy for spirituality. So we have been able to do a lot in that area, in supporting mentorship and discipleship, being able to create a legacy to children. We have produced many books. We have produced Bibles for children and a lot for them. So when we're talking about humanitarian organizations that are really in Kenya, us being one part of it, there's another organization that I love what they do, Samaritan Pass by Billy Graham. They are doing a lot in community. In fact, Samaritan Pass is one of the organizations that I know that have stepped in whenever there is a disaster. They have a program called Operation Christmas Child that is mostly in reaching the kids with the gospel and doing discipleship. And they give something that is called gift boxes, whereby they say it's one gift, one child, once in a lifetime. And I've been part of them also as a volunteer. And millions of children have received those gifts. I was watching one clip that touched me in Ukraine. You know, Ukraine has been facing war. And there are many children who are in refugee camps. There are many children who have lost their parents, who do not know where their parents are. And a country like Poland and UN, Samaritan Pass, they have been in front line in helping the children of Ukraine. Giving the gift boxes. I saw some of the children receiving the gift boxes and the love that was there, sharing the gospel through the gift box. That really touched me. And I said, wow, there are people out there using whatever they can to touch a child somewhere. There are different ways of doing humanitarian work. So Samaritan Pass, UN, UNICEF, we have other organizations out there who have stepped up to make a difference in the people. One Vision, they are also doing great work. Plan International, one way or another, all these organizations are stepping out to see humanity receive people's life, have a better life. They've been able to reduce pain in people's life, eradicate suffering in people's life. So there are all those organizations who are out there making a difference in people's life. And I say, keep doing it. I mean, together, let us do it together. I pray that United Africa will reach to such a place.
You will.
Yeah, where we are able to reach to children of Africa. We have a program called Humanitarian Center, where we are encouraging people who are out there who can donate, who can give for free. Like we have created a dropping center where you can donate clothes, where you can donate food stuff, anything that you don't use.
Okay.
You can drop it at United Africa for children, and children in disaster places, children who are in need, will be able to receive your gift, will be able to receive your donation. You can trust us to take it to the place where it's needed.
That's amazing. So our viewers and even me actually, we may have wanted to do volunteerism. Remember, volunteerism and humanitarianism, not the same thing. So volunteerism, how do you start? For example, you don't have maybe the funds or the capability to start an organization. So how do you start volunteering? Like, for example, how did you start?
Okay, up to today, I still volunteer. I think all of us, wherever we are, we can give something to our society.
We should, and we should.
Some of us, we are professional. Some of us have gift and talents. Some of us, we have money. We can all donate or give what we have to help someone somewhere. It is part of humanitarianism. humanitarian. When you volunteer and give your time, because people went to Ukraine, nobody paid them. They were volunteering. Many people are volunteering even their home to host people. You see, as you volunteer, it's part of humanitarians too. It is inside the same. So where do you start as a volunteer? And what the question we need to ask ourselves, how does volunteering help me? How does it build you? Because when you're giving back to your society, you're giving back to yourself. Every time you give, I love what the Bible says, give and it shall be given back to you. There are people out there who cannot afford money to pay you to come and teach them. And where they're coming from, the society itself cannot lift them up. And what they're waiting is somebody to volunteer and say, I'm going to pay your school fees. I'm going to teach you how to play football. I'm going to go to that children's home and come and be able maybe to wash the clothes. So to volunteer, there are many ways. There are categories of volunteering. Like in our organization, we have a program called Volunteer in Africa. So there are categories for you to volunteer. We have church ministry. So when you're talking church ministry, we are talking about children ministry, youth ministry, women ministry, men ministry, Bible ministry, evangelism ministry. Those are programs inside church ministry. There are people who are called to ministry, and they're looking for opportunity to volunteer to be able to share their faith. So we have created a platform, anybody, anywhere, who feels, I want to share my faith to the teenagers. I want to be a mentor, a spiritual mentor to children. So we have that program. Then the second category is we have children homes and rehabilitation centers, like orphanages. We have so many orphanages where we have children who are orphans where they're kept. We have children who have been going through vulnerable issues, children at risk. So we have created a room that anybody who wants to serve in children orphanages, who want to farm in child at risk programs, who want to serve in street children programs. So we have that space for him. And then you have community projects, like digging boreholes for water. People feel maybe I want to be involved in a community project, establishing a school, digging water, wells for people who do not have water in dry places. So we have all those programs for you. And also maybe want to volunteer to experience Africa, and their money goes to help somebody somewhere. You can volunteer to tour with Tour Africa. United Africa's Tour Africa, where you can tour with us, and your money goes to help a child somewhere. So we have all and many programs, and also we have attachment and interns. People feel I'm looking for an internship, and they don't know where to start. Volunteer in Africa is that we help you to know where to start. Then you're looking for attachment, and you don't know where. Origin Africa is that we help you get an attachment, get a certificate, and we are able to make sure you are attached to the right place where you want to be. So there are many areas to volunteer in life. Sometimes when you think about volunteering, you're thinking about going to a children's home or to a charity place. No, it does not have to be that. You can volunteer in the church. Like where you go to church, who are the most volunteers if you know?
Oh, the most volunteers in our church. It's actually the women, the elders, actually. And surprisingly.
Now, then, most people volunteer in church as Sunday school teachers.
Actually, yes.
Have you had a bishop as a volunteer?
No. It's actually a church women.
When you sit in a church and I say, oh, we need a bishop to volunteer. Have you heard something like that?
No.
Or we need a pastor to volunteer. You always hear what?
Sunday church
volunteer.
And they do a lot of work, Sunday school church.
A lot of work. You see, they're called volunteer. It's a volunteer thing. But now the wrong thing is, it's how we have defined that place to eat. Because people volunteer to serve children. Children cannot pay you. Children don't work. So, my point is, there are many areas to volunteer. In ministry, in orphanages, in rehabilitation centers. They are all in projects. You can volunteer wherever you are.
Amazing.
Yeah, and if you're looking somewhere to volunteer, you can write us down there. And we will make sure you get the best experience of your life as a volunteer.
So how do we apply now? Is there a website? Do we call a number?
We have a website. You can go to www.unitedafricaforchildren.org and you'll find all the details. Or also go to www.superkidsafrica.org. You'll be able to find all those information there. There's a form We don't ask many details. Just fill the form and we receive your form and we'll be able to refer to you. Or you can call our numbers and you'll be able to reach out to you.
All on the website.
Yes.
Okay, so that has been it for today's episode of The Culture Show. Today we are actually located at the Plant House, which is a really, really nice restaurant in Roiro, Mempley. You can find the Plant House here. You can host your small event, a small wedding if you want to, your baby showers, your birthdays. You can also come here for food and, just a family outing. So that has been it for today. And also remember to keep it culture-based. So we are joined by Sandra, who's the manager of the Plant House, where we are actually shooting today's episode. And I want us to tell us something small about the Plant House. It's a very beautiful place. Kindly.
Well, my name is Sandra. Not actually the manager, but I'm running the place on behalf of Jackie Weganjo. She's the director of Plant House. Well, the scenario of Plant House is more of a garden event based. You can host your wedding parties, evening parties, birthday parties, graduation parties, anything. We have the space, the grounds, and the decors to offer, plus our food is totally amazing. So feel free to check in on us on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Plant House Garden. For reaching out to us, you can as well use my number 0732 700 847. And
okay, so that has been it for today. Thank you so much, Sandra, for making the time to talk to us. So the Culture Quest is the only place where you will find information about our languages, our art, issues affecting us in our society, and how we can make them better, the solutions. The solutions really count a lot. And that is it. In case you missed our last episodes, make sure you find them on Facebook, Nisi Television, on YouTube, Nisi Television, and even and if you want to catch us live, find us on Signet.
Thank you.